couple of
speak.
thoughts here. Go real
Frew
quick, Goodman.
worries me a
So
little bit after
yeah,
watching
I'm
him,
with you.
to be honest. He's not
I'm with
an
you.
athletic dude. And going up against the front line, and not even a front line, just like their wings, their guards are athletic at Arkansas. Kind of a bad matchup for him. I think he's solid, but I'm not sure. Again, their front line right now, you look at it and you're like, okay, now I question. Now, he better dominate. I mean, think about it. They got Indiana coming up. We'll talk about the Hoosiers here in a minute. They got them on Saturday. Like, I want to see Sanandra Frew dominate that Indiana front line because today he was a step slow every time I looked up, to be honest.
Go ahead, Latulip. Go ahead.
I'll zag here. I don't think Sanandra Frew is the issue. I mean, I thought he was honestly like the 4 offensive rebounds tonight. He had 14 points. He had 2 blocks. Like I thought he was solid tonight. I think Louisville's, this game for me with Louisville, like no panic. I think they still can contend in the ACC. I think they're still Final Four contenders, all that stuff. And I like the way they prioritize driving in the second half instead of letting that chaos turn them into kind of chucking threes. But my biggest worry with them is on the glass. And you can look at the metrics on KenPom or wherever and just say, hey, they actually look like a good rebounding team. But I think the metrics were misleading coming into this game. And that's what I was really cracking down watching was the glass. Because when it really comes down to it, like they really aren't, Frew I think is actually a pretty good athlete for his size. But the rest of the guys around him, when you start Hadley, and then Conwell's not a great athlete, certainly vertically. Yeah. McNeely, same thing. I mean, Brown's obviously a freak, but they're small. And so getting the help, it's not necessarily Frew, because Frew's the guy that's going to contest shots at the rim, especially in pick and roll. If they play drop, he's going to contest shots around the rim. So when he goes and leaves his man to block shots, who's coming in and cracking down on rebounds? That's how Ewan got 7 offensive rebounds tonight. So to me, it's like it's not just Frew, it's the guards in these wings who have. That's why you need something from Pryor. You need more size out there and more rebounding. I mean, the same thing.
Yeah. And I agree, Mike.
But
yeah, and that wasn't to say that it was all on Frew. It was more so just me saying, with those guys, like I think you hit it on the head. They don't have a huge team to begin with, but
yeah,
you know how it goes. Like if drop coverage isn't working, what the hell do we go to next? If my fastball isn't getting people out today, what's my changeup? What's going to be my breaking pitch? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know with those guys that they necessarily have the flexibility or versatility, I should say, to do a lot of different things. I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm sure they'll try at some point to mix in some zone or something if they needed, just to, throw a wrench at people. But what would be a different look that you can give somebody if your drop coverage ball screen isn't working at night? Because I think we can see that now. Like, people are going to go after that, especially when, like you said, Frew's the better athlete, but when Khalifa's in the game, you for sure going to get it. You know what I mean? But those guys are both good players, and they give them rim protection and a presence. So it's not their fault. It's just I don't know how many different ways they're going to be able to do it.
Well, I think to your point, Jarrell, Arkansas exposed some of that tonight, because when Khalifa's in, they put 2 on the ball when Khalifa's in ball screens, because they don't want him like retreating into the paint, having guys beat him on rolls. So Arkansas was like, if you're going to put 2 on the ball, when we skip out of it, we're attacking. Like, we're getting downhill, we're getting in the paint. And then they switched with Frew in the second half. And now you got your guy who's your best rebounder out on the perimeter on guards. So, I mean, that's the question, I think, for Louisville is on the defensive end. We saw tonight, they didn't play well offensively, and they hung 80 points. Like, it's not that. Certainly the offensive end isn't the issue. So I want to see how they continue to grow and evolve.
What changed, Latulip? What changed Latulip in that second half? Because I don't think Louisville's going to go 3 from 20 from beyond the arc very often in games. They did that in the first half. They didn't light it up in the second half. But what schematically changed in that second half for Louisville to get things going?
Well, their first 20 points in the second half, only 6 of them came from the 3-point line. Like, they just made more of a point to get downhill, even if it was McNeely, who usually hunts those threes, like he's shot faking, getting downhill, using the chaos that Arkansas is trying to create, using that against them. where it's not like, hey, I'm not going to rush into this three. I'm actually going to try to get into the paint. They had a couple drop-offs to Frew. And then, I thought they locked in a little bit more defensively and they were able to get out on the break a little bit more too. So that, it all ties together, but I think, and Michael Brown, I think, has to learn too. Like he's an offensive engine, period. He is. But some of the shot selection stuff with him and the time and situation stuff, I think they had cut it to 8 or 7 at one point, and he had a pull-up 3 off of no passes, kind of in the half court, just little stuff like that. As a freshman, like he'll continue to learn, and he's mesmerizing, man. Like that dude, the dunk he had in the first half. He is.
That was legit. Malik Brown Jr., by the way, his third 20-point game of the year, that is tied for the most by a Louisville freshman in the last 20 years. On the other side, Darius Acuff Jr. became the first Arkansas player with 15 points and 10 assists in a game since Jalen Tate. That's a name from a couple of years ago, back in 2021.